Blog Talk Radio.
But we are making a stand, and we're waking everybody up that 9/11 was an inside job. And you are the minority. You are the cowards who don't know the truth. You're the people that serve this evil system. You're the people that serve a system that hurts innocent men, women, and children. Not just Iraqis, not just Afghans, not just Africans, but the people right here in this nation. You serve a new world order that attacks and feeds on you. And I'm here to tell you that you will be defeated. Your hours are numbered. We've got the energy. We've got the life force. All you've got is evil backing you up. All you've got is greed and liking to look at yourself in the mirror. Because deep down, the New World Order is a pot-bellied, chicken-necked ninny. And all the armor and all the weapons are nothing. You are nothing compared to good. You are nothing compared to life. And you will be defeated. I want the individuals out there, I want free humanity to turn themselves loose, to cut the chains loose, and to use the end of that chain to slap the New World Order right upside the head. You've got the power. You want to know who's going to defeat the New World Order? It is you. You're the individuals that are going to be able to defeat this system.
What if the American people woke up and understood that the official reasons for going to war are almost always based on lies and promoted by war propaganda in order to serve special interests? What if we as a nation came to realize that the quest for empire eventually destroys all great nations? What if the American people learned the truth?
The FBI has foiled about 17 plots to kill Americans during the past 10 years. What it will not tell you is that there have been 20 foiled plots, and of them, 3 were interrupted by members of the public. The 17 that were interrupted by the feds were created by the feds. Why do we pay the government to trick us into believing it is keeping us safe? What if a government that manipulated us could be fired? What if a government that lacked the true and knowing consent of the governed could be dismissed? What if it were possible to have a real game changer? What if we need a Ron Paul to preserve and protect our freedoms from the government? What if we can make elections matter again? What if you could love your country but hate what the government has done to it? What if sometimes to love your country you had to alter or abolish the government? What if Jefferson was right? What if that government is best which governs least? What if I'm right? What if the government is wrong? What if it is dangerous to be right when the government is wrong? What if it is better to perish fighting for freedom than to live as a slave? What if freedom's greatest hour of danger is now?
It's critical that every citizen of this country rise up and do something, because the day of reckoning is at hand and time is running out.
Unless we do something, we're going to get the government that we deserve.
How did you let this happen? Wake up out there. You know, it's your children. Don't you care? Look what these people are doing to you.
There are 200 million adults in this country. Why we are letting them get away with what they are, why we're not marching in the streets.
Do everything in your power to restore freedom and your individuality back to America. Stop being a country run by the institutions for the institutions. Let's go back to we the people, by the people, for the people.
We have to stop being scared. We have to stand up and do what's necessary to take back, to stop these bankers, these elite, this government full of lies, congressmen full of liars.
And the Federal Reserve. And the fractional banking system. And the Fed. Elect Ron Paul. And the war.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You, the people, have the power. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, let us all unite!
Who controls the past, controls the future. Who controls the present, controls the past.
The death of bin Laden marks the most significant achievement to date in our nation's effort to defeat al-Qaeda.
All you got to do is start looking around, start thinking for yourself, start investigating things, and you will see it all right there. So you have the power. Humanity has the power. We have the power. Do you want to fight? You better believe you got one!
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories.
And for me, give me liberty or give me death! I feel like this all the time, trying to politically awaken people that they're being lied to, that there's an agenda. It's not left or right. It's, hey, there's mind control going on. The signal's broadcast 24 hours a day through all this media. Just become aware of it, and they'll say, there's nothing going on. And I want to say, put on these glasses or start chewing concrete.
They have taken the hearts and minds of our leaders. They have recruited the rich and the powerful. And they have blinded us to the truth.
The question is, do we all work for central bankers? That's what I want to address to our guest tonight.
Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep.
An estimated 50 to 70 million Americans suffer from a sleep disorder or sleep deprivation.
Outside the limit of our sight, feeding off us, perched on top of us from birth to death, are our owners.
Latest census numbers prove the United States has the biggest gap between rich and poor compared to all westernized countries today.
Our projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite.
And for the first time in all of human history, mankind is politically awakened. That's a total new reality.
I've got one that can see.
We can't be the only ones who can see.
Unfortunately, you've grown up hearing voices that incessantly warn of government as nothing more than some separate, sinister entity that's at the root of all our problems.
It's a new morning in America. Fresh.
Yes, it's Joseph Gibson here, broadcasting live on Blog Talk Radio, understanding the times in which we live in today. Yes, we got one that can see. Remember that movie? Remember Rowdy Piper, They Live? That movie, They Live? Where he puts on the sunglasses and all of a sudden he can see. He can see what the hell is going on. And folks, look what's going on around us. Democrat, Republican. We talked on this show. Trump's going to fix everything. The Republicans, they control the Congress, the Senate, the House, and now they got a Republican president. But what happened to repealing Obamacare? Wasn't that the big thing in 2015? All the Republicans repealing Obamacare? Wasn't that the big thing? Tell me something. Why are they not doing what they're supposed to be doing? What's going on here? Is this just the Genoveses and the Gambinos, dividing up the piece of the pie, and we're left with the crumbs? Is that what's going on, folks? Is that what's going on? Because we have a Republican Congress, we have a Republican House, we have a Republican Senate, and we have a Republican President. And that's what we've been talking about for the last 10 years, haven't we? With the Tea Party and all the other nonsense. And yet, nothing has happened. Tell me something. Maybe they know something we don't know. What do you think, folks? Maybe World War III? Maybe a pandemic? Maybe the economy will crash soon? Maybe that's why they're not doing anything. What are these rich elites doing? You need to watch them. Are they building bunkers? I mean, what's going on? You know, it makes you wonder in a way. Why are they not doing what they're supposed to be doing? What's going on here? You got to remember, you know, that you got to look at every crisis. You got to look at every action. That's what these people do. You remember 2008 with the banking crisis, where the bank bailout happened. Your economy is going to crash. There's going to be martial law. Gas prices were $5 a gallon. You know, prices were, it was chaos in 2008, if we remember correctly. But what was really going on? What was really happening? September 11th. What really happened there? You know, so what's going on here? Is it because they don't like Donald Trump because he's not a part of their bloodline, their evil Illuminati bloodline, their skull and bones bloodline? Yeah. The New World Order. Hitler knew about the New World Order. He knew all too well about the New World Order. He's the one that started it, actually. We put him in power. I mean, what's going on here, folks? What's going on? Why are these people promising us something and not doing it? It is so blunt in our face. They are criminals. These politicians are criminals. They should be arrested. Arrested and tried for the crimes that they have committed. They got barber shops, the best doctors possible. They've got everything. They go on vacations that you've never heard of. All on your penny, all on your dime, on the backs of your labor. No, your taxes don't pay for it. Taxes are made up for. That's another subject. Like I said, read The Creature from Jekyll Island. Read that book if you know how to read out there, or listen to the audio if you don't have time to read. Or watch that documentary, The Money Masters. Okay? Listen, folks, this is your life we're talking about here. And those of you who are 81, 82 years old, you know, you're not out of the woods yet, folks. You know, you say, I don't got to worry about anything. In the state of Wisconsin, 50 people have volunteered to take a microchip in their forehead or their right hand. Look up that story, people in the chat room. 50 people in Wisconsin have taken the microchip. Okay. To work for, I don't know the whole story. I heard about it, but 50 people have taken the microchip. The RFID microchip, they're going to put it in their forehead or their right hand, and what they're going to do is they're going to use that for their job, to sign in for their job, to get their paycheck through their job, to buy and sell with their job. Imagine that. Even if we told them it's the mark of the beast, would they believe us? Would they believe us? I mean, you know, we discredit the Bible. We talk about this. We talk about the end times, and we're facing it right with our very eyes. But people say, I don't know. God's not talking to me, so why should I believe? You know? Well, let me tell you something. Like I said, elderly people out there, you're not out of the woods. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. Those that are older, you don't want to live through the tribulation. You don't want to go through the tribulation at the age of 80 or 85. Because let me tell you something. It's going to be hell on earth. Hell on earth. Okay? And we talked about this many times on this show. But anyway, again, hey, Bridget Pruitt's in the chat room. Hey, Bridget Pruitt, thank you for logging into the chat room finally. Finally, thank you for coming into the chat room after all these weeks. I'm glad to see you're in the chat room. You can converse with Bitbanker and everyone else if you can. And I welcome Joe from Sebastian, Florida. I hope you got your car back, Joe in Sebastian, Florida. I hope you got your car back. And Mike's not here tonight. Mike from Wisconsin, but he sent me a text, and he said, my phone's still working, my cell phone, so I don't know what he meant by that. But, you send him a text, and he don't reply to you. I mean, he sends me a text to get in touch with his wife, because we know, listen, we talked about this the last show. Mike is sick. He's having medical complications. We don't know what's going on with him right now. We don't know. Because you send him a message, you call, all you get is voicemails. You ask for his wife. I'm not going to mention names because, we're not going to do that. You mention names, and you get nothing. You get nothing. I mean, come on, Mike. Where are you, man? Where are you? We're all here worried about you. I know Joe in Sebastian, Florida just hung up now. Maybe he's calling Mike. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with him. Everybody's going crazy. That's all I can tell you. Everybody's freaking nuts. Everybody. And these are the end times we live in. These are the times in which we live in today, the end times. Perilous times. Perilous times. Oh, my Lord. I don't know what to say anymore right now. I'm going to call Dr. Peter Ventura. Let me see if he's Mr. Doctor. I got to get some other people on this program here, some guests. We got to start scheduling some stuff here because when I rely on others, they just. So let me see. Dr. Ventura is running around in New Orleans, Louisiana. I want to hear about this. Who pays for these trips? Good God, a pastor's salary must be very good. Must be real good to be traveling the country as many times as he does. Let me tell you, I need that job. Boy, oh boy. All right, let's call Dr. Peter Ventura. Let's call him. All righty. Because Joe in Sebastian, Florida hung up. I was hoping he'd chip in here tonight, but he ran away. Maybe he's having a meltdown. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know anymore. I don't know what's going on. I just don't understand it, and I just don't get it. Hopefully, Dr. Ventura will answer. He probably recognizes the number. Like I said, he's in New Orleans, Louisiana right now. I want to talk to him. Oh, boy. Hopefully we get a hold of him. Maybe not. Maybe not. Usually he answers by now. He's on vacation courtesy of the VFW right now, actually.
Hello?
Hello? Hey, Dr. Peter Ventura. I just want to let you know we are live on Understanding the Times in which we live in today. And you're live with Joseph. He hung up on me. Call dropped. Oh, boy. Let me try him back again. Call hung up. Peter, where are you?
Hello?
Peter. Hello, Peter. I lost you there. You're live with Joseph Gibson, Understanding the Times in which you live in today. How you doing? And I'm very concerned. I've got family members that are sick. I got family members that are losing their mind, and they're not saved. They're not saved. And we're going crazy in the world today. The world is so fast. We're spinning out of control. and everyone's looking for it. Look at today. We're talking about transgender, transvestites in the freaking military. Come on, man. Why is that even a subject today? You know what I mean? Why? I mean, why are we? What's going on in the United States, Dr. Ventura? What do you see happening? You're a pastor. What do you tell your church? Well, you know, I'm a part of your church. What's going on in America today? Talk to me.
Immorality, sin. That's what's going on. Devolution. All goes down. Nothing. You know, if you look at the Roman Empire, it went the same way. A country's not protected by its weapons or its armies. It's protected by its God. Now look at England. England abandoned the King James Version Bible, and they went to the Revised Version, and ever since then they went straight down to the tubes. At one time, England used to send missionaries to the United States. Now we're sending missionaries to England. And America's doing the same thing, you know, abandoning the Word of God. Although there seems to be a reprieve of some sort that God is, you know, the reins of the king, the Bible says, is in the hands of the God. And so he turns it which way he chooses. And a sinful nation, you know, gets what it deserves.
But so you're saying that the people out there today, you're saying that God's punishing them for what they're doing? I'm not doubting that.
I'm saying that it doesn't get better, Joe. It gets worse. It gets worse.
So what's okay?
So
that's a good point.
What I tell my people
get worse
is
before it gets better, right?
Well, what I tell my people is, you know, the Bible says if my people will pray for their nation, God would heal it. I think before Trump got in there was some real bad stuff going on, worse than what's going on now. And had Hillary Clinton got in there, God forbid, where we'd be right now. But facts is facts. Bible, you know, prophecy says that we're on the way down. So it's sin and immorality. Amusements of all kinds. I mean, if you look at the history of the Roman Empire, that's what brought the Roman Empire down. It was sin. It was amusements. It was, you know, people caught up in their in pleasures.
Yeah, and that's what we have today. Entertainment's everywhere, right? Entertainment.
Overtaxation of the people, amusements of every kind, overtaxation of the people, overspreading of the military, and you know, here's the Roman Empire all over again. But you know,
so
God sent Jonah to Nineveh,
where does it? I mean, so tell me. Everyone wants a final solution here. In your opinion, and I've got people calling me on my phone. Don't call me on my phone while we're on the radio show. Don't do that.
And I don't have a lot of time, Joe, and I apologize.
I know you
for
don't.
that.
I know you're in New Orleans. I know that, but then give us a solution. What's the solution, and what's the end time result of what's going to happen here in America today? What's the bottom line?
Well, I don't know. I mean, God gave Jonah a message to bring to Nineveh, and the nation of Nineveh, or the city repented. The city repented, not the nation, but the city repented, and God, gave them 100 more years. So who's to say? I don't know. I just know that, I live every day as though the Lord Jesus Christ is coming today. And if he doesn't,
wait a second,
I'm out.
Dr. Ventura, wait a second here. The Bible tells us, doesn't it? It says we'll know the season. We don't know the time, but we can see the season. So you're telling me that, hey, we don't know. Maybe we'll live another 1,000 years. So that means we have to sit here and listen to pastors like you talk about the end is coming. Give me everything you own and give up everything you have and stop living for the world.
Well, pastors like me, I resent that. I resent that categorization. Because I don't tell people to give me anything, and when you say pastors like me, you lump me in with a bunch of phonies, And
Right,
I don't tell people to give me anything.
Well, hang on, Dr. Ventura, you're 501c3, so you're like a lot of the pastors that do say this. But if you're independent by yourself, then I apologize if you're offended by that. But what I'm saying is that pastors like you that are 501c3 churches, you know, who are claiming tax-exempt status, you know, you're saying, you know, you're preaching the same gospel, the King James Bible, and saying the end is coming. Jesus is coming anytime, so repent. But then you're telling us, well, maybe we could live another 2,000 years. So
well, I'm telling you, what I'm saying is the Bible doesn't tell us. The Bible doesn't tell us the exact day. It doesn't give us a number. It doesn't say. It just tells us we'll recognize the seasons. But he didn't tell us to watch for the end, rapture. And that's our focus, is to be watch for the rapture. Watch for the rapture. There's no place in the Bible where the Lord says that.
No, Jesus did say watch. Jesus said do watch. Do watch. Watch for the end, that when it comes, when there's one left behind in the field and the other is there. He does tell us watch, you know, for the end.
Well, isn't he talking to the Jew then? There isn't even a church yet. See, so dispensationally, you have to be careful where you're going with the Bible, because everything in the Bible isn't in your mailbox.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
This is where people
everything in the like when you read Matthew 24, we're talking about something that's Jewish. It has nothing to do with you and I.
Where does it say
according
in
to
my
the
Bible that he's talking to the Jew, Peter? Tell me. I need to be educated.
Well, because he
Where
clearly
in my
tells
King
you in
James
Matthew
Bible
20.
says he talks to the Jew.
Well, because in Matthew 24, he clearly tells you it happens on the Sabbath day. You see, and you and I don't have a Sabbath day. The Jews do. So you have to know where you are dispensationally in the Bible. Not everything is in your mailbox.
Welcome callers on the line. Any new callers who want to jump in, we're 100% live here. I don't screen callers. Those of you who are out there, I know I got about 35 callers on the line right now, and I do see a bunch. So if you want to jump into the conversation, you're more than welcome. And you can bring up new subjects also. But we're talking about America today. America. You know, is this the end of America? What are we looking at today? What's happening to America? I mean, obviously we have no trust in our filthy criminal government. You know, are we supposed to put our trust in God when our pastors are out there driving around in brand new cars, big billion-dollar buildings? Who do we put our trust in? You know,
well,
they say
you say our pastors. My pastor isn't driving around in a $1 billion car, and my pastor isn't on the radio selling you 20 miracles in a bottle. You see, there's been shaman have been around since the beginning of time, brother. If you want to know whether your pastor lines up, is he living a KJV, AV life? Is he living a biblical life? Is what he's preaching biblical? Most people don't even understand their Bible. That's the first thing. Half of them don't even read it, and they want to run around calling preachers phonies and all kinds of stuff because they dress nice. If they read their Bible, they'd know the Bible says that a pastor's worthy of double honor. Not just honor because of the work he does for the Lord. If he's truly doing the Lord's work, he dedicates his life to it. You see, those who are out there who are manufacturing Christianity and making money, that's a whole different category of thieves that you're talking about. You're talking about shaman.
Well, Dr. Ventura,
okay. But there are men who dedicate their life every day, and they preach the gospel every day, and they live a modest life.
Every day.
Why Lester Roloff wouldn't even own a diamond watch. Somebody offered him a diamond watch, and he told the people.
All right, hang on, Dr. Ventura. I believe you, but hang on. Before I get to a couple callers, I hope you have enough time just to listen.
I don't have time for a couple callers, Joe. So
we're talking about
I gotta go.
Here. We're talking about something very important.
I know.
All right. Well,
I know
you
what
at
you're
church
talking
right
about,
now?
but I don't have time right now, Joseph. I know I'm in the middle of a meeting, and I've stopped everything to answer your phone call.
All right. Well, can you listen to just one call? Just one. How about that?
Yes.
Can you give me 10 minutes of your time? All right. I've got two that have been waiting a while. Three, but I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to go with the first one, 209. 209, area code 209. Go ahead. You're live on Blog Talk Radio with Joseph Gibson, understanding the times in which we live. You're unscreened. I don't ask you what you want to talk about first. You're live. Go ahead. You got Dr. Peter Ventura on the line with us also. Go ahead. Area code 209. You are unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My phone was muted. Sorry. This is, you call me Fred from California. Now, in the conversation, now I don't want to go off topic, so we're talking right now about spirituality in relation to America, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Sounds like Tone.
Okay.
It's not Tone. It's not Tone. He's calling from a different number, and I don't think this is Tone. His name is Fred from California. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. So my position on religion when it comes to, I guess in the relationship of like America going down because there's no established religion anymore. It's kind of been thrown out the window. I do kind of see that because even though I was born Christian, I'm not anymore. When it comes to, I guess, when we see transgender kind of pop up and being in the military, and then I see my Facebook posts sometimes, you have people that want to identify as a third gender, fourth gender, non-binary. When you start accepting those ideas and it's not practical to have them to a certain degree, I can explain that. I do kind of see what people are talking about when it's going downhill because things are going out of whack and everyone wants to do and be how they want versus what was practical to do to have traditional roles and gender identities, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So what's your question for Dr. Ventura, real quick? What's your question for Dr. Ventura, or make your statement?
I said, what? Okay.
No, it's okay. You can take as much time as you want, but he's limited. His time is limited. I'll get back to you, but his time is limited. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
My position is this: if there people had good morality, do you think America would survive if there was no more? Even though this was based on a Christian nation, do you think America could survive without religion? Even if there was good people walking around with common sense.
Dr. Ventura,
Hello?
the question was posed to you. Yes, Dr. Ventura, he's talking to you. Did
Do
you
I
hear what he
think
had to
America
say?
would survive without? Do I think America would survive without religion?
Yeah, because not everyone, at least for the millennials of this generation, they're not so much, because a lot of them have turned away from religion for different reasons. So, I mean, in this, there are like a lot of smart people, but then again, they're still, they're not as, they're a Christian, but they're not a devout Christian going Sunday every day type of Christian or Catholic. Because I know people.
Well, I don't think.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think. I think that first of all, we have to look at America as a whole,
right.
And America as a whole. God chose Israel as a nation. America chose God. This is the only nation in the world that chose God to lead us and to guide us morally as a nation. So when we throw God out of the picture, then we're certainly going to have a problem. Now, can a nation survive without a religion? Well, I think every nation, any people can survive without a religion. If you say religion, I don't think Christianity per se is a religion. I think it's been made into a religion. When we say religion, in the organized sense. And I understand a lot of millennials have turned away from it. The reason why a lot of millennials are turned away from the reason why a lot of millennials are turned away from Christianity is because they're being educated out of it in the schools. It's the agenda, the humanistic agenda, and if you study the Humanist Manifesto 2000 from the UN.
Doctor, why? Why is this happening? Why are we, as Christian nation, allowing this to happen? Because we're too busy on vacation. We're too busy driving around in our brand new cars. Where's the church? Where's the church? Where's the pastors of America? Even if we don't agree with
Well,
the doctrine of the Catholic Church or other religions, we have a fundamental belief that we have a God out there that says you're supposed to do right. But our government's not doing right, and we do nothing. You know what I mean? And that's the point I'm trying to make here. I'm glad the caller what he said, but I'm trying to beat around the bush here. You know, I don't want to beat around the bush. I'm bringing it right to the head. Where are you, pastors? And you're a pastor. Where are you? Why is our government so corrupt? The church is, we chose God, did we? You just said we chose God. It don't seem like that according to our government. So what the hell are we doing? What's going on? Who are we voting for? What, does our vote even count? So that's my point. Go ahead, Doctor.
Well, God didn't call me to be a politician. I'll be honest with you. God called me to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, the death, burial, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. God has called other Christian men into politics at times, and he has, Billy Sunday would go into a town and he'd preach and they'd close all the bars down by the time he was done. So, the people would be so morally convicted. So I get what you're saying. When you say, where are the pastors, as though the pastor, listen, God's given government. Government is not for Christianity. Government is to restrain the men who are not living for Christ. Government is to restrain sin of sinful men who refuse to be governed by God for the most part. You see, a person who's living a godly life isn't involved in the things that are sinful and immoral, you see.
Where does your church stand, Dr. Ventura? Where does you, as a pastor, stand against transgender issue? Should they be allowed to serve in our military? And you're on a VFW convention right now, so that's why I bring this subject up to you, which is very important to answer.
Well, I think that the scriptures are quite clear. God created Scripture says a man shall leave his mother and father, be joined unto his wife. I think that homosexuality, bisexuality, transsexuality is a lust of the flesh, and there's no scientific proof whatsoever for cross chromosomes and all that nonsense. It's an educated and a fleshly thing. Even your children today. You go into school and the kids are taught. Sarah has two mommies. That's what they're giving your kids to read. Because why? Because they've taken the Bible out of the schools. Okay, now you have Trump. We prayed, the evangelistics have prayed. Where do I stand? I believe that a marriage is between a man and a woman. That's where I believe. And I believe that's it.
Okay.
That's what the Bible says.
So you don't support the VFW. The VFW doesn't support transsexuals or this.
I don't know. I don't know the
doctrine
of the I don't know the doctrine of the VFW. I don't represent the VFW. I'm at a convention.
You're partaking in a convention.
Well, that doesn't make me a delegate, brother. Hey, brother, I go to McDonald's. It doesn't make me a hamburger.
Well,
what I mean?
You're giving your money to McDonald's and you're supporting the hamburger. You're supporting the hamburger and you're buying the hamburger and you're enjoying the hamburger. So if McDonald's was laying with Satan and promoting homosexuality, would you give your money to McDonald's? As a pastor.
Well,
my point.
Well, if the government's allowing transsexuals into the military, then every dollar you put into your federal taxes is going that way. So you're supporting them too. So enjoy.
Right.
Absolutely. You can narrow all that.
I agree.
You can narrow all that down. Should a pastor smoke? I don't know. A guy's drinking soda next to me. He's got 55 chemicals. So, 1,000 chemicals. Who knows? Let's get out of the gray area.
But hang on, doctor. There's a positive and there's a negative. There's no in between here. There's no
that's right.
If the government's doing it, I gotta go with it.
No, truth is not relative. It isn't. I see it my way and you see it your way. The first principle of truth is a law of non-contradiction. B cannot not be. Okay, there's a positive and a negative on a battery for a reason. Okay, so I get what you're saying. My stand is that, no, our church doesn't stand for homosexuality of any type.
If a transgender walked into your church, of course you would give them an opportunity to accept the Lord Jesus Christ. I respect that, and you've told me that. However, if a transgender wanted to come in there and say, no, I'm a man, but I'm really a woman, and I'm going to worship here at your church, and wouldn't that be a devil infiltrating your church, trying to degrade your church? And you know what I mean?
Not necessarily. There are. That doesn't mean that they end up on a membership roll. Just because somebody shows up at a church doesn't make them a member of the church, Joseph.
Well, if they wanted to be a member, would you allow them to be
church
a member
is a
of
public,
your church?
A church is per se a public place, and it's a spiritual hospital. That's where you want people who are spiritually sick. You want them to come to the church. You want them to get well spiritually.
Yeah, I know, but if
so we don't stand at the door and poll people and say, "Are you?"
No.
We don't stand at our church.
I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that, Dr. Ventura. I'm not saying that at all. And this is a very hard question for the answer. I understand because it's a political question in a way. But if I have a church and a guy comes in and he's a man who's turned into a woman and he sits in my church, talking to the members of my church, my flock, my sheep, because that's what you are. You're the pastor. Those are your sheep. That's your flock. And, he's in there talking about, hey, don't you feel like you may be a man instead of a woman? Would you allow that individual to partake in church services, in church activities, and be a member of that church? Would you allow that?
No, I wouldn't allow a membership in my church, but I certainly want them there to hear the gospel. And I'll be honest with you, they usually don't stick around. People who disagree with the doctrine of the church usually don't stay there to listen to the preaching. They go find a church where,
I agree.
where they're going to be comfortable.
They run away.
So
Satan runs away. I agree.
If a pastor's preaching against certain sin and certain things, and he should preach against every sin, what happens is generally people will not stay there with the doctrine of that church.
Yeah, I know. Generally, they don't. I know. I was just giving a hypothetical there, and the point of it is,
I respect that.
But back to the VFW. The VFW, what does it stand for? I mean, if the this is veterans of foreign wars, and they're vets who served in the military, so they have firsthand experience. How do they feel? I mean, this is a good question maybe to pose at the convention that you're at. Hey, what do you think? Do you want a transgender sleeping next to you in a dormitory? What next, Dr. Ventura? We have to allow fat people on the front line because they feel they can serve, and it's not fair, you know what I mean, to them? Let's put them on the front line if they want to be there. That's what they feel. That's where I'm going with this,
I understand. I understand. I think it's a very politically charged question. All the way around. And I don't think most soldiers want to be on the front line. But I can't speak for every soldier either. Opinions vary along with religious, then there's religious lines too.
Oh, of course.
You're going to have some people who don't care, who have no religion, who have no moral convictions. Hey, I don't care who's next to me. In fact, they might be happy to be in that foxhole with them.
Well, yeah, I agree because they might put a bullet in them. But anyway, I'm just saying they may. I'm not telling people to do it. Just clarify that legally. But again, I've got people on the line here. But Dr. Ventura, you're a pastor. You have a church. And again, the thing of it is, you already made your stand. You don't support this LBG community. You'll invite them in to hear the gospel, but you won't allow them to join your church. Now,
correct.
What do you do when, which I understand, you have to have a mission statement. You have to have a faith, a statement of faith for your church. Now, what does everyone else feel about that? Let's see here. 209, you're still on the line. What's your opinion of that? Does Dr. Peter Ventura have a right to have that decision for his church? Is he discriminating against transgenders?
It's interesting because I can answer because I'm actually serving in the military. I'm in the Navy.
It's tacky.
I don't think it's Okay, I don't think it's right to deny someone spiritual healing. But I also understand that cemented Christianity speaks out against that transsexuality and homosexuality. It's a sin, and that's been that for hundreds upon thousands of years. I don't think they should be a part of a religion that said 2,000 or 10,000 years ago that you are a sin. I don't think they should be a part of a religion like that. It just, I just don't think they should be part of a religion that speaks out against them. Say you're the sin, go away. I don't think anyone should have that choice. Really, I don't agree with it. No.
Okay. So you don't agree with Dr. Ventura, or you don't agree with the transgender? I didn't get that.
Okay. I don't agree that he should say you can't join my church.
Why not? All right. You don't agree with that? All right, Dr. Ventura, tell him why they should not be allowed in your church, because. And this is what's going to happen across the country eventually one day. I can see it coming. We see it with the military. We see it in the courtrooms. We see it everywhere. We see it with the bathroom laws that are coming up around the country, where you can't go into a men's bathroom unless you're a man. You know, you can't go in there because you identify yourself as a man, but you're really a woman. That's a felony. It was a felony here in North Carolina, and Texas is now proposing a law where that happens for safety for the children. But this caller here, Dr. Ventura, says, no, you're wrong. That he should be allowed to join your church. You're discriminating against him. What do you got to say about that, Doctor?
Well, as I said before, you have me kind of caught out here. I'm in the middle of valet services. Hold on one second.
That's all right. Take your time. I know you're busy. I caught you off guard. I understand
Thank you.
Dr. Ventura is partaking in a VFW convention, so
okay, well,
he has to have a minute.
Convention's over.
Ahead,
I'm moving
Doctor.
on to the next convention. I'm moving to the Cootie convention.
All right, go ahead.
All right. What we have is
what if a transgender wanted to partake in a VFW activity? Would the VFW kick him out?
I have no idea. I don't think they would.
That's an interesting question.
I don't think so. I think there's plenty of lesbians and homosexuals that show up at those things. I think that the church has bylaws, and it's a religious organization. We don't discriminate against people. Anybody's welcome. You're welcome to come into the church. You're not going to stay there. The bylaws.
Dr. Ventura, hang on. I know you don't have much time, and you've been sticking with us a little bit longer than you said you would, and I appreciate that. But can you answer that one last question that he made? He says it's not right for, before I get to Melicon, it's not right for you to deny him membership because he's a transgender to your church. If he wants to be a member, he should be allowed to be a member of your church. Dr. Ventura, answer this man or woman.
Well, that's what he says. I get that. That's what he says, and good for him. The law says different, and the Bible says different. And so Melicon is, he worships the women. His thing is the woman goddess, Venus and all that, and Mother Earth. And so, tell him stick with his religion. And I'm tired of hearing people tell Christians how to be Christians who are not Christians. Why don't he become a Christian and tell me how to become a Christian? Or how to live a Christian life. First, become a Christian.
Well, that's a good point.
Because you don't know anything about Christianity.
That was a great point.
And I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it, and I get it all the time. And I'm tired of hearing people tell Christians how they should live, and they're not even Christians. I don't go tell Melicon how he should live, and what quarter the moon sends him out at night. All right. So don't come around and tell me Christian life if you're not even a Christian.
Dr. Ventura,
Joseph, I got to cut you off here. I thank you very much for the opportunity tonight, and I thank your audience. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ventura. We'll continue this conversation another time. Thank you very much. If you have to hang up, I understand. Right. Thank you. All right, Melicon, you've been waiting a long time. What's on your mind tonight, Melicon? Go ahead. What's on your mind, brother?
Hey, notice how you're Joe Gibson, my revolutionary brother of Revelation. Notice how, as soon as you mention my name, your legal, spiritual advisor went and did his sidebar routine. As soon as you mentioned my name, but you were talking with him for 20 minutes, he had to go. That was a test of lie because he really didn't have to go until he made his point right. And then you mentioned my name, he character assassinate. Well, Mandela can't believe. No, I don't believe, feel, think, or have an opinion. I'm not responsible for what the good doctor or you know. I'm responsible for what the people know. And here's what I know. That inside of the context of what you are laying out is Christians and the Bible. I want y'all to lay the map of the world out. Your problem is God and country. 1/5 of the population. And you have declared yourself omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, and the equal, that you can go anywhere you want and do what you want to the moon and back, and nobody better not stop you. Do you know how crazy that is? How insane that is? Now, I want to prove something to you. In the revolution, we are accepting everyone, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, old, young, gay, straight alike, to overturn the system. And once we do that, then everybody can go where they need to go to feel safe and secure in their homes, persons, and property. And I'll name one name because I know we got doctors all over the country with pharmaceuticals and Dr. this and Dr. Huxtable and Dr. Umar Johnson, a whole bunch of doctors, right? And
Doctor of Pudding, Dr. Huxtable, the Doctor of Pudding.
We're going to get sicker and sicker. But here's what I caught you. It wasn't George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, who was the last president of this nation. And then we move on up to the Clintons, the girl, whoever, the Bushes and the Obamas. It wasn't until, don't ask, don't tell, keep it on the down low, that this first gay and lesbian task force president, Barack Obama, ushered in Adam and Steve with Mary and Eve. Now, I know that everyone has the Bible, Torah, and the Quran, they're Hebrew Israelites, Muslims, and Christians. It is you, from the Roman Catholic Church to the Storefront Baptist Church, that now, by law, everyone had to teach my children and your children how to give each other oral sex and sodomize each other just to qualify for some sustenance. If you do that, out of that contract, something's wrong with you. But go back to your books. It's Adam and Steve. No, it's Adam and Eve. But here's the problem. Caitlyn Jenner, this guy Caitlyn Jenner won the Woman of the Year award just a couple of years ago. Out of all the time this country's been here for a couple hundred years, and, many people have been here millions and thousands of years before that. Isn't it extraordinary that just a couple of years after the first gay and lesbian task force president, Barack insane Obama, that Caitlyn Jenner, who was an Olympic champion, her name was Bruce Jenner, that he had to make himself relevant again by doing something that his madam, the dawn of all dawn, the boss of all bosses, Kris Kardashian, who used her little prostitutes, right? But Caitlyn Jenner said he was the Woman of the Year. And guess what? Y'all bowed down and served this guy under Barack Obama. He's not a fucking woman, right? But how could it just in 2 years, here's a man who was an Olympic champion, decathlon, and so many other things. How could he qualify in 2016 to become the Woman of the Year in America with black women, Latino women, Mexican women, Puerto Rican women, Chicano women, or white women? How could y'all sit on your asses in the Roman Catholic Church, the Muslims, the Hebrews, Moors, and Christians? How could you sit on your ass and let this guy get an award without y'all overturning this stuff, right? How? I'm going to tell you how. Because you're caught up in that bullshit religion. And religion is the essence of all of what we are going through, because figures don't lie and lies don't figure. It's a mathematical equation. Either you add, multiply, you become great, or you subtract, separate, and take away. I'm telling you that under Adam and Steve and Mary and Eve, you can only subtract, take away, and divide. You cannot put people together. That's why in the revolution, we for everybody. Black, brown, red, yellow, white, old, young, gay, straight alike. And in the Church of the Revolution, you're welcome to overturn the system. And then I'm going to show you that you're not gay. Most people are not gay, Joe. They're bisexuals. They're switch hitters. And whoever make them, somebody say, well, come over here, COME. Most people, whoever make you CUM and pay your bills, you might do anything. You might do anything if somebody make you CUM and pay your bills with pennies and $100 bills. How could it be that pennies, $100 bills, and CUMMING, and you close your eyes, whoever make you come, you say, well, look, I can be with it for now. But then you go back to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, and everything. So, look, I'm straight. No, you're not. You're a switch hitter. You are bisexual. So what I'm saying is this, that at this late date, we can't all use only one formula, the Bible. We can. And I'm going to quote this scripture. And I'm glad Dr. Ventura was there and he didn't have time, but I'm going to show y'all something that's in your book. I'm not right, Joe Gibson, you're not right, and your legal residential religious doctor, Ventura, he's wrong too. Because the book will tell you this in Revelation. Everybody go look it up. I don't give a damn what you believe, feel, think, and opinion. It says this. We have before proved that the Jews and Gentiles, they are all under sin. Their mouth is an open sepulchre. Their feet are swift to shed blood. The way of peace they have not known. There is not one righteous. No, not one. That's in that book. Why do you think that the book at the late date of the day said to look, I know y'all got a lot of tribes, a lot of cliques and gangs, and everybody's a gang, but you ain't standing for the right thing. Why do you think they put that clause in there that said that ain't nobody righteous? Because everybody's under kill or be killed. So you want to kill the gays? All right, my friend,
1 minute, please. 1 minute, okay. Please. 1 minute.
You and some others might want to kill the gays, the lesbians. Somebody might want to kill the blacks. And remember, the Bible in the country said that slavery was legal, right? And even today, slavery is legal, but it don't have no color. Slavery is a system. So when you look at today, you can't count yourself in no religion, in God and country and say that you have the formula for humanity because the Creator, God, is the Creator for the whole planet. Not just for you black and white people in America, not just for you so-called people who are not Hebrew Israelites, Moors, or Muslims. Y'all just looking at it in your little box, in your little corner, and trash Jesus Sinister and white Jesus Tone, Dr. Ventura. Both of y'all are wrong. Why? Because if you don't have your way, you say you're going to destroy everything, and this is what Armageddon is. This is what the prophecy said. No, it did not. That's some bull. That's some crap, man. I'm telling you. Listen, y'all got one chance to put this right, and we all in the valley decision, and this time we got to be right. Live and let live in one love will overturn everything. Live and let live in one love. Once you apply that, that's natural law. That's common law, and we deserve that after all we done seen in the last just 250 years. Much love, much respect, and I rest your case right there.
All right, well, don't go anywhere, my friend. My computer's locking up on me. I would like to get, I'd like to call some U.S. senators tonight live on the radio program. I probably should have did this before I logged in and learned my lesson that my computer has been screwing up for the last 3 shows, actually. But with Dr. Ventura, he never answers the question that I really did ask, and he dodges the question, and then he starts quoting the Bible, and that confuses a lot of people. And I'm all for him bringing his doctrine and his knowledge to the table, and I'm for anyone to bring their knowledge to the table. I do see a couple other callers on the line. I can't connect you, but I have people live already, so and before I can connect them, or let's see, the chat room's got a dozen or so people. I got people on Facebook, and my computer's messing up. I really apologize. My clock isn't even running right for the stream time left on the show. So 209, you're still there.
Yeah,
I want you to take a few minutes to go ahead and talk and give your opinion about what you guys and Dr. Ventura conversed about and what Melicon just had to talk about, and then I'll have my closing to the show unless I can bring some more callers on. So I'm going to give you a few minutes, and you get the floor. So talk about what you want to talk about. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say it's nice to hear Mandela Khan again. Freddie from TRS. Nice to see you. But I did want to say a thing. My position on, because I'm up in the Navy, so my position on transgender people being served in the military. There are transgender people who serve in the military now. They're already in the service right now, just much longer than I've been.
4,000 to be exact. 4,000 from what I've heard.
So,
4,000.
A lot of my friends on Facebook who were in disagreement with people who are transgender being in the military, there were different opinions. One of them was it would be an unsafe environment for them. Yeah, I do agree because there's a lot of transphobia running around the country. That I see that as a reason why they should, just for their safety. Another reason, which I agreed with and then I thought was bullshit, was the physical readiness and the hormones and the having to meet the physical requirements because it contradicts. Because if you're male, but you're not as a woman, how do we do that? If the physical requirements, push-ups, sit-ups, and running are different when it comes to age, right? I'm 32, so a person who's 18 has to do more push-ups and sit-ups than me on the fitness test. That might be conflicting if they're a female and they want to be a dude, but they can only do their body is female, only capable of what a female can do. So that's kind of conflicting. Now, once I found out there were people in the military already who were transgender, I thought that was bullshit, and I went back to the original argument, which was most people who don't want them in the military are coming from a emotional transphobic state. They're not using the logic on. They're not coming from the standpoint of the perspective of people who are already in the service going, it would be, they couldn't meet the physical requirements. I thought that was true, and then I thought, wait, we're already there, so how did they get in there under Obama? So they're there. So they met some type of standards. Now, my position on people who want to be a Christian and they're homosexual or they're transgender. For the most part, no one's stopping them. They can go walk into a Borders, get a Bible, and start praying in their own home. But as far as them being in a church, no pastor should have a right to say you can't come here and worship the Lord. I think that no one should have that right. But I do see sometimes transgender people and people who are homosexuals. Sometimes they can be impractical, and maybe because of out of emotion, they want people to change the writing of the religion, and you can't do that either. This is not like a policy that was put in place 8 months ago. This religion is 3,000-4,000 years old. So no, and I know I'm jumping around here, but
that's fine. You take your time.
Yeah,
and
I want to get to why, and I want to get to why I left Christianity. Okay. Now,
well, that's interesting. I actually want to hear that. So that's very interesting. So bring that up, please. Go ahead, talk about that.
I don't know if I count as a millennial because I was born in 1985, not after. I was born before. I was born in the mid '80s, so I don't know if I count as millennial or close to it. I was an adult by 2006 fully. But the thing is, why I left Christianity was this. Most of the people, I only know my mom's side, don't know my dad's side, but both my sides of my family were Southern Baptist Christians. What I have a big issue with is those Southern Baptist Christians in particular cannot give practical advice, real-world advice from my experience. Maybe someone would know better than me. They can't give good examples as to how to, just basic common sense stuff like, confidence building, character building. They always refer to the Bible. They don't relate that to actual life and apply that to real life situations. I feel like Southern Baptist Christians do not want to do the work to really help people improve their lifestyle. Because when I personally, when I asked my mother, I would ask my mom. I was just like, when I was younger, I was mad at life. He was like, how do I become a better person? Like, how do I was just, you wanted more confidence and all that. And And, you know, I would get angry. Just, there had a lot of self-esteem issues when I was younger, like in my late teens, early 20s. And my mother would always go to the Bible. She never give me real practical answers that I wanted to hear. That's why I went looking elsewhere for this knowledge. So whenever I get mad, she'd always say, go home and pray. Just pray. You never asked me what I had an issue with. You just said go and pray. And then I realized because of that, I tried to get it from mom, tried to get it from my dad, tried to get it from my family members, and other than my sister, no one else gave me real answers I wanted to hear. So they would never ask me what was my issue, what was the situation. What I had to come to conclusion on my own was that the religion is supposed to empower you, to help you get success in life. You don't go home and pray that someone's going to fall in your lap. You pray after you've done the work, after you fill out the job application, after you saved up the money to buy that house, after you looked and researched about what kind of business you want. I felt it was impractical, so, and that's how I felt about religion. Like, if you can't offer me something to empower me in my, that will motivate me to do better in my life, career, financial, love life, whatever, then it's not. It's worthless. Because I said religion's supposed to empower you, to motivate you to do, so you can do better, so you have the motivation to keep on going with yourself and improve yourself. If it's not used for that, then what is it for? That's why so I can see why a lot of millennials and young people look elsewhere, because it's kind of like the preacher is kind of like the motivational speaker, and the motivational speaker motivates you to stick to your goals and get rid of the bad voices in your head. The devil.
1 minute, my friend. 1 minute. 1 minute. I'll give you a minute and a half to wrap it up. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, but that's basically what it is. I'm just basically how I feel about religion. You need that motivator, and I didn't feel that Christianity was a good motivator. So I had to do it on my own, really. That's not bad, but that's all I got to say.
Well, thank you very much for your input. Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your input. And welcome, A.K. Cog, to the chat room. Bitbanker left the chat room, or he might be back in the chat room. I don't know. People come and go in the chat room. It's crazy. But, yeah, and this is what this show is all about. I give everyone a voice, whether or not you agree with his voice or not. And some people agree with your voice and what you were just talking about. I got messages here in the chat and on Facebook because I live stream as best I can, and they personally messaged me. So this is what we do on Thursdays and Sundays. And the transgender issue, of course, is in the news. And this caller here disagrees with Dr. Peter Ventura, but like Melicon says, Dr. Ventura has always got someplace to go, and he's always got to run away when it gets hot. You know, and and that's why I posed hard questions to him. You know, because look, and that's why I make wisecracks. You know, these pastors are out there, you know, collecting money on these nice vacations, and this is where Dr. Ventura is, and he's a friend of mine. I've known him for over 20 years, but he's on vacation right now again. He was on vacation 3 weeks ago, and now he's in New Orleans. Well, who's running your church in San Diego, California? Who's running it? Who's taking care of things? You're the pastor. You know, it's that you're on vacation. He's at a convention. Well, who pays for these conventions? Who's paying for this? This VFW. We're all crying that the veterans don't get anything and blah, blah, blah. Well, who's paying for this New Orleans trip? To, for the VFW. Who pays for this nonsense? We got people in our cities starving. We got children starving in America. You know, veterans should know better. The vets should know better. This is nonsense. You know, pastors, imagine Jesus Christ saying, I'm going to take a vacation to New Orleans and ride the trolley. You know, I'm going to go down to Bourbon Street and hang out. You know, imagine Jesus Christ, you know, come on. That's why pastors should be paid nothing. It should be all volunteer. The apostles in the Bible, Dr. Ventura, were not paid any money. They weren't given a salary. Jesus Christ didn't go cash a paycheck on Friday every week. You know, this is the hypocrisy. And this is the problem with America. It's melting. It's melting before our eyes. The flag is melting. Nobody believes in the Constitution anymore. It's nothing but a piece of paper that doesn't exist. Do we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, folks? Do we have it? No, we do not. No, we do not. Oh, my Lord. You know, next show, folks, will be on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And those of you who are new callers and people in the chat room, don't forget, $500 cash. Tune into the sports show. Week 1, the NFL. Pick who will be appearing in the Super Bowl. Pick what teams will be appearing in the Super Bowl. Say, for instance, you say Dallas and Cincinnati Bengals, New England and the Giants. Whatever you pick, if you are right, you've got to call into the sports show, folks. The sports show. Look it up. It's listed right now. It's called Friday Night You Pick 'em. Just look up my name, Joseph Gibson. I'll give more details as we get closer because we have got to do the picks right before the first game of the season, 1 week before the first game of week 1. Okay? And all you got to do is pick it, and you win. Guess what? In January, before, when the Super Bowl is being played, you could spend $500 on me. $500. I will send you $500. Yeah, all right? But you got to call into the sports show. Yeah, but you don't have to call in and give your personal information over the air, but I'm going to have your personal information. I'm going to have your mailing address, your name, so I got to know who to make out the money order to. There will be a postal money order. Postal, so there's no fraud there. All right, it'll be by the United States Criminal Government Post Office. That's what I'll be going in. I'll purchase a $500 money order and send it to you if you could pick the 2 teams that will be playing in next year's Super Bowl. Okay? And every Friday night, we will be doing a sports show to get away from all this nonsense. Hey, I like football. I'm a football fan. I don't know if any of you are out there football fans. Some of you are. But it's going to be me and a couple co-hosts, and we're going to be doing Friday night pick-ems, and we're going to have some side bets. For instance, the co-hosts, week 1, will have a $50 side bet. Who can have the best picks after week 1? Hey, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, and there's money involved, and we all need money, don't we? So all you got to do, folks, is call in on that first sports show that I have before week 1. You can't call in after week 1 and say, I picked Dallas and New England to play. No. You got to do it before the first game, before kickoff. You got to do it before the first kickoff. Hey, listen, even if you don't like football, pick 2 teams. You might win, man. What the hell? $500 in your pocket, We did it last year on the captain show. The captain, the idiot captain, he and I have broken away, and I'm not going to promote his show anymore. We've had a difference, he and I, the Freedom for All Network, the idiot captain, the fake Navy sailor. So we broke away, so I'm doing my own sports show. I could do a lot better without having to try to help other people out because, they don't follow through. Listen, I know what success is because I've seen it. All right, but anyway, I just want to put that in for the people that are out there listening, the guests in the chat room, and even AK Cog. Hopefully you'll participate in the sports show. He or she, I don't know if you're a he or she, I don't know. Malcon, I know you're out there. Hopefully you'll listen. Hopefully 209, a new caller tonight, will listen. and we'll listen to the sports show. It'll be great. It's going to be something good. It's going to be something fun, you know. Oh, you're from Alaska. God. Oh, Alaska. Wow. We got an Alaska listener. Somebody from Alaska listen. That's awesome. Not into sports, he says, but he or she. Well, hey, pick two teams, man. You may win $500. You got to pick an NFC team and an AFC team, Doc. So, hey, if you're not into sports, just check it out. Melcon, all right, before I wrap up the program, Melcon may have something he wants to say. I'm going to give you a minute, Melcon, and then I got to wrap up the program. I got to go, okay? Go ahead, Melcon.
I heard you throw that backhand slap against your residential Dr. Ventura, and I can't allow that to go forward on behalf of the people, Joe Gibson.
All right.
I want to say this, that each and every one of us, including me, with the People's Revolution of the Red, Black, and Green, I'm looking at the world through my own spectacles. You, Joe Gibson, is looking at the world through your spectacles, just like Dr. Ventura. He's looking at the world through his spectacles. Am I right?
You're right.
Right. Okay. All of us are wrong, Joe, until we have freedom, justice, and total independence for everyone without racism, bias, and prejudice. I don't give a damn if you like me or don't like me. I'm not in the popularity contest. I'm not your leader. We are the people we've been waiting for to come out of transitioning to the people's government for living that live in one love to take us directly out of kill or be killed. So you have your lenses. Dr. Ventura, Tone, Trash Jesus, me, I have my own lenses, but none of us are right. So we can't beat our chests like, well, look, this says this and that says that. There's not been a book written, Joe Gibson, and people on how we got free. I'm the author of that story, you and me. The books are the dead. The history, the only good thing about the good old days is that they're dead and gone. It's only now to the future. What the hell are we going to do now? And we know this thing is all upside down, and we got one chance to get this right. And living one love means that whoever don't know what Jose Feliciano, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, and Helen Keller, they didn't have eyes, but they could see love. And love is the key. We have to bring in live and let live in one love. And no Army or Navy or Air Force, Marines or cop or judge can adjudicate their ethics and morals based on constituency services. The people are the constituency, and they are also the employer.
Well, I agree with you, Melcon. You're right. The people are, but the people, what are the people going to do? Throw rocks at the tanks? You know, what can we do? What can the people do? You know, I mean, you know, what can we do, Melcon? How are we gonna have a revolution without these people shooting at us? Tell me how.
This way, numbers don't lie, and it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And somebody said there was no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Somebody used 2 atomic bombs, and their ass, whoever did it, they're in serious, serious trouble. I don't know who did it. Maybe North Korea, maybe Russia, China, or Cuba. You know, maybe Pablo Escobar used 2 atomic bombs, but whoever did, their ass is in serious, serious trouble. What that means is that you can't shoot your way out of this one. So first off, is that we're going to have to learn how to interact with each other without causing death. That's the first order. And all of us are accountable for that with our AAA choice plan of accountability, assets, and assets because, like I said,
Melcon, ever since the beginning of time, man has tried to conquer man. So how are we going to change that? How are we going to live together without, like for instance, like you said, you know, we go over to Africa and they say, well, you're weaker than us in Europe, so we're going to, because you don't have the weapons we got. You know, how are we going to change that attitude, that way of thinking, man versus man?
Good. Okay, and you got to go back to the German scientists and all that, and Los Moses and everything when it comes to atomic bombs. Again, now the Africans and the Chinese who taught you how to explode stuff, Europeans, and the Moors who taught you mathematics and science, how pi equals square and this and such, and you learn how to use projectiles to make fire-breathing sticks and caterpillars, and then you use atomic bombs. That's unprecedented, and that's a new phenomenon on the planet Earth. People use energy to help each other. Everybody, if they have evolving with growth and development, with elevation and ascension, they got to use all energy to help each other. But if anybody creates energy to cause threats based on either do as I say, I'm on my way, you're definitely wrong. So this is a new phenomenon that people use weapons, even the weapons of World War I, World War II. This is new. So we were in an arms race when we were emperors with no clothes, because you can't arm yourself against life forces of, for, and by the people. So what I'm saying is that everyone has to be accountable on what they are saying as it relates to repentance or some beneficence or some ethics and morals. Now, you can't demonstrate no repentance with the current relationship. You can't demonstrate no beneficence. You can't say you got ethics and morals when you're going to say, well, look, I'm going to get the gun if I'm a Crip or a Blood or Uncle Sam, and I'm going to say you're going to do as I say, I'm on my way. We know that that's not the popular formula. So what we got to do is look again inside, because it's all inside of us, and see, is this the actual relationship that we want to go forward as y'all want to predict World War III, which will totally annihilate the human family. And we cannot allow that to happen. So we can talk about this at another time.
No, we can't.
You can't shoot.
No, we can't.
Pray,
but Malachi,
I
got to get ready to wrap it up. So take 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I got to wrap
you,
it up. 30 seconds, please.
Okay, for everyone, go to the revolutionary revelation, go in reverse. It's all relevant. The root word is rev. We can't shoot, pray, go to school, or vote our way out of this. I'm serious. This is monopoly, corruption, and greed. Monopoly. Most of us as working people, we're going to end up in jail or hell or need bail. Most of us as working people, we're going to end up in jail or hell or need bail. So I'm telling you, we cannot shoot, vote, pray, or go to school our way out of this. We were already born with the natural common law on how to interact with each other without hindered, without being unfettered on our encroachment of our sovereignty and integrity and dignity and independence. So no person has the right and the duty to create an unhindered, unfettered situation. That is their right and their duty. And if we don't do that, that's the deal. So I'm not going to put it up for nobody. I'm saying that we all wrong, man. And ain't no way we're going to shoot, pray, go to school, or vote our way out of this without us having to be destroyed. Because this is the flood. Remember Noah and the flood? Now the real flood is that we flooding ourselves with lying, stealing, killing, rape, pillaging, and plundering, and war. Abomination of desolation. And now for the first time in history, our children will have to be taught by law in this country how to give each other oral sex and sodomy. I don't give a damn what y'all do over 18. That ain't my issue. My issue is that now my children could be in the bathroom and anybody can walk in there and say, well, look, I'm qualified to be in this bathroom. No, Adam and Steve is a goddamn crime, and I love you. I'm going to rest that case right there. Joe Gibson, keep doing what you're doing, because nobody does it like you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Bang, bang, bang. Nobody does it like you.
Everyone gets a chance on this show. Don't forget it. It's on my dollar, too, my dime. You want to talk, and trust me, we do have a big audience. We get new callers all the time coming in, and that's what's great. I like that new caller that called in earlier. You know, that's great. You know, I want to hear, hey, talk to your friends, man. Call in to blogtalkradio.com/Joseph Gibson. And I'm getting pounded with a big thunderstorm right now here in Greensboro, North Carolina, so I'm going to wrap it up. Hey, God bless everyone, even if you don't believe in God. You know what? Believe in whatever you want to believe in. We got to straighten this mess out. And that's why we're here, understanding the times in which we live in. Take care, guys. Thank you for your calls. Good night.